One of the most anticipated things to ever hit the Nerf world at a pro level is AEG tech. One of the most hyped gimmicks in any tier of foam dart blasters is shell ejection. And one of the most recognizable symbols of military dominance, the M-16, has definitely appeared in Nerf before, but not like this. One company decided to implement these three things into one toy blaster, and today we're gonna check it out. Let's get into it. Speaking of military dominance, this video is sponsored by Army and Outdoors, one of the most trusted names in global military surplus with over 30 years of experience outfitting adventurers, enthusiasts, and collectors all around the world. Whether you're building an immersive loadout for foam battles, prepping a tactical kit, or just want durable gear that won't quit, Army and Outdoors has you covered. From pouches, bags, and packs to authentic field gear and apparel, their massive catalog features military surplus from all around the globe, including some hard-to-find German and Eastern European items. I personally added the Helicon Tech's general purpose cargo pouch to my own gear setup. It fits perfectly in the foam hobby for stashing battery packs, mags, tools, whatever you need on the field. You can grab yours using the affiliate link in the description or pinned comment, and don't forget to check there for your exclusive discount on your first order. Every purchase supports the channel and help keep these reviews coming. Thanks again to Army and Outdoors for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into it. All right guys, so they're offering two different models, what they're calling the base model and the upgraded model. The main difference between these two is that the base model has just regular mags, and the upgraded model here, the Delta model, has a speed loader and a drum magazine. This is according to AGM Mastech themselves. Unboxing is pretty straightforward. This seems to be a retainer box. You get two mags. You get a top carry handle style, very authentic and M16-ish. You have the lower / receiver, the stock, and the front end, which very conveniently has two contacts that match up with the receiver's two contacts, and the battery does go here in the front of the muzzle. So once you connect them, you have a full completion of circuit, allowing the battery to control the electronics. Little muzzle piece here that attaches to the front of the blaster here for that extra orange if you want it. It doesn't affect performance at all. It's literally just aesthetic. And you have what I like to call these 2/3 length darts. They only come in suction cup variety. Maybe some 38 or 40 millimeter version of half length will work. I've yet to see. We'll have to test that and find out. And you get a 2S Li-ion battery, 500 milliamp, very bare bones entry level capacity, but it should be able to be plenty for an evening battle with your family and friends. Take that for what it's worth. You have full instructions with plenty of English and other language translations explaining all the modes. This is a select fire blaster. You have a manual mode, a safety mode, an electric mode. They give you a little QR code with some instructions on how to operate the speed loader, which for a shell ejecting blaster, I can see how this can come in handy, but we're going to find out exactly just how it works when we look at the upgraded model. Basically same thing as our blue variety blaster here, but in this cool neon green yellow color with some different designs when compared to the blue one. Has a little bit of an extra graphic here. These seem to be manually operable as well, like I've seen on some airsoft blasters, which have the dual action self prime along with the electric function. So that's pretty cool. Same accessories as with our other model. We have our shells, carry handle, front end, receiver, darts, muzzle, stock, and what makes this one stand out as the cool boy, it's got a drum mag. I have to say, this is the first time I've ever seen a drum mag for a shell ejecting blaster design. So this is going to be really cool to see in action. We're going to build these two up, charge the batteries, and then do a little bit of plinking and see what the performance is like. Let's get into it, guys. Just running through the features of the blaster real quick. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of things that make this blaster authentic to its original counterpart. For example, this spring-loaded door does eject the shells as per the original. We're going to confirm that here in the demo. One thing to note, the mag release is on the right side of the blaster. So if you're a lefty, sorry, I don't think they offer anything ambi right now. Maybe in the future if there's enough interest. You got your 3 select fire switch right here, consisting of your safe in the middle, semi to the left, and full auto to the right. So that means you can't just go from semi directly to auto. You have to pass the safety switch first. So manual charging handle right here where you can actually spring load the air piston inside the blaster and then single fire one shot individually. Buffer stock is adjustable just like any other system of this type, even in real steel. The only difference is that instead of a conventional buffer tube, it has a proprietary one. The stock length seems to be okay, even for my long arms. It should fit your basic needs. Now remember, this is a toy grade blaster. This could be used indoor to play indoors with your family, or even a very short distance backyard war. It would be adequate as well. For all intents and purposes, this stock is just fine. It does what it's supposed to do, and I like the fact that it does match the rest of the blaster in color scheme. Installation of the battery is pretty straightforward. You do get this little screwdriver included with every kit. Loosen up this screw right here on the top of the battery cover. Now, one thing I noticed is that the screw does stay fully extended on the holder, so that's something to take note of. Then you have this little 4-pin 2S4P connector. Connect it, and it sits lengthwise inside the battery compartment just like that. Closing it up, you're just going to repeat step 1 in reverse, and you're going to screw it back down until it's all the way, just snug. You don't want to over tighten it. And that's pretty much it as far as blaster's basic operation is concerned. As far as assembly, everything is basically twist on except the muzzle. The muzzle just slaps on. Of course, you can reorient it depending on the way you want your vents to fit. This front part is twist on. Like I mentioned earlier, the contacts are on either side of this tube. It's a pretty cool design, so you don't have to mess with connectors when assembling the blaster or disassembling it when you want to put it into storage. You have that peace of mind that it's easy to put back together when you want to go back out and play. And then just twist it back on. The stock is twist off as well. It's cool that it kind of all comes apart. Now the top little carry handle iron sight, that one does take a couple of nuts in these respective little knurls. Careful not to lose them because it does come disassembled. And then you can just remove these, and then it's a single bolt that's loosely inside this side of the handle, kind of like a typical Picatinny mount. Believe it or not, this does seem to be a standard 19 or 20 millimeter Picatinny rail, so you could actually put any sight you wish. I kind of like the matching carry handle, the way it just flows with the rest of the blaster, but that's just me. That's your neon one. Of course, this is the one that comes with the drum. Now, I believe you could order the blue one with the drum as well. Part numbers are pretty depictive of what you're getting. This one here with the drum is the EG-023-Delta. Delta, I'm assuming, is for drum. The blue one here that takes basic mags is EG-023-B as in Bravo. And I assume the B is for base model. You do get 2 magazines with the base model, and you get a 22 round drum with the drum model. Each blaster kit comes with a total of 40 suction cup 2/3 length darts and a generous 20 shells. I kind of wish there was 22 shells so it can match the capacity of the drum, but then again, we're just nitpicking. These things are probably pennies on the dollar just to get some extras, so that's not a big deal. Without further ado, we're going to do a quick loading demo, and then we're going to take them outside, have a little fun, and then give our overall lasting impressions. Let's get into it. Another cool feature about the D model is that it comes with this quick shell loader. Now, loading shells is not your typical dart loading experience. Normally with darts, we just put the darts inside the mag, but with this one, we got to take into account that you got shells to worry about too. This contraption here, its intention is to make the shell loading part of the process faster and easier. I'm not a crazy shell ejection blaster freak or enthusiast or somebody that collects these avidly. I have a couple, but if you're into shell ejection blasters, you're mainly into it because of the prop and the authentic kind of emotional feedback you get with that gameplay style. In a practical battle setting, you don't want to be dealing with losing your shells. Bad enough that you lose darts as it is when you're in the battle, so having something else that's even a little bit more costly to lose just adds to the complexity and, quite frankly, the hassle of that kind of gameplay. So this is definitely reserved for more of a family-oriented, fun, indoors kind of gameplay. Gonna demonstrate real quick how this works. You're gonna release this door and open it up by pressing open cover right here on this part of the switch. It's going to open your loading bay. You're going to expand this, and you're going to expand this part right here. This is the mag loader. This is the shell loader. The way you're going to do this, you're going to load 8 darts facing upward, since that is the loading position. It doesn't matter if the dart is touching up here on these little nubs or if it's down. It doesn't matter because they're all going to get pushed down into the shells anyway. Basically, you position 8 of these darts just like this, and then you're going to put 8 of the shells directly underneath them, just like like this. And like I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you feel like you're gonna be faster with your hands doing the manual shells or with this machine, but I thought it's a cool accessory, especially if you don't have that much dexterity in your hands. It kind of like eliminates the guesswork. Anyhow, once you have them all lined up like this, it doesn't matter the vertical orientation, how close they are to these nubs, because it's gonna come down anyway. You're gonna push them down. There's gonna be a little bit of an air pocket as you push them down, so just be gentle. You don't have to slap it. You know, you can go slowly just like this. Once you get them in, they're gonna sit nicely inside the shells. Once you're done with that, this is kind of my favorite part. You actually install the mag on this loader, just like you do in your mag well on your blaster. There is a release in case you use the mag you didn't want to. You want to put another mag for whatever reason, or for when you're done loading it, there is a release just like your blaster. But to load it, you're going to push down on this contraption here, and your mag is loaded. I think this is really cool. Whether this was an unnecessary addition to this kit or not, I just think it's cool that they even thought about this, because it makes the whole loading process for being shells something that's already an extra step in both loading and firing your blaster. It takes away a little bit of the mental stress associated with playing with all this extra plastic on your blaster. I had already one other mag filled. We're gonna put these in, and then we're also gonna do our drum off camera, and then we're gonna get to blast. One thing I wanted to point out, I may have mentioned earlier that this select fire switch is indeed to select what may have sounded like an electrical semi-automatic and then an electrical fully automatic respectively, but it's not. Basically, when you put it in the semi-automatic position, what that means is that you can now operate the blaster manually. You could load around by using the charging handle back here, and then at that point you're basically operating the air piston manually. I didn't want to mislead anybody by making them think that this does have a proper electrical semi-auto. The semi-auto is basically just pump action, for lack of a better term, with the only difference being that you're just manually charging the air piston inside the blaster versus having a gearbox do it. Safe is safe as usual, and full auto is your AEG function that now will use a motor to activate this piston back and forth. We're gonna fire a couple rounds at my little plinking targets, see how it does. Let's go. We're gonna do a couple of semi-automatic rounds using the manual charging method, and then with the green blaster, the one with the drum, we're gonna tackle some full auto action. Let's see how she does, guys. Very cool. Okay, I see. Ah, there it is, the shell ejection. Oh, little hiccup, but it happens. Can't get 100% all the time, right? Now, I think that last one might have not, yeah, that last one didn't prime up, so we're gonna clear it. We're gonna see if it's a last round thing that it does, or if it's just one of those random skewed inside the mag situations. Okay, that worked. So just a full vigorous, all the way back, all the way forward. And there you go. The shells eject when you charge the handle for the next one. Let's check out the full auto. Okay, so we're gonna try full auto now on this blaster. We're gonna move the selector switch all the way to the back, which is full auto. See what we got, guys. Okay, so full auto is actually not even full auto. Full auto is semi-auto. As fast as you can pull the trigger, but the motor in it is toy grade, so it's not 100% gonna give you that snappy response that you're looking for. But I think for indoor gameplay, it's just fine. Let's give our lasting thoughts. I don't have my chronograph with me right now. That's a long story involving a very big suitcase that may or may not be in Maryland right now, but it definitely feels pretty peppy. I would say like mid 70s. Turns out I was really close. If you watch Dr. Flux's video, he has a really good video on these as well. He actually got into the performance metrics of this, and he was getting about mid 70s. Pretty much the old Nerf Elite par, good for indoor battles. You won't break anything. And honestly, for what this thing is trying to do, I think that's the sweet spot. This blaster is about fun combined with realism, not necessarily competitive war zone loadouts. I had a lot of fun plinking these little targets. Has a nice little smack to it between 10 and 20 feet away from the targets. Accuracy, surprisingly, is good. The reason I say surprisingly is because when you're running a shell ejection blaster that is run by essentially AEG technology, your shell is your barrel. Don't really have much surface area to go by when it comes to a sealed barrel situation for accuracy. So the fact that these darts can even shoot well, that was pretty surprising in a good way. But really, the vibes, and as some popular Nerf tubers have said in the past, that emotional feedback is what I think these blasters are all about. Racking the slide, watching the shells eject, manual operation is a blast, electrical operation is a blast. In resume, I would like to clear things up. When I started this video, I had the impression that this blaster had a semi-automatic electrical mode, a fully automatic electrical mode, and then a non-switch related manual mode that you could use at any time independently of where the switch is. I was wrong. The semi mode is not electrically powered. It's essentially the mode you want to click the blaster onto when you're gonna operate it exclusively manually. As soon as you pull this back, it's gonna open this window and leave it open for the duration of your blaster operation so these shells can eject with ease. This is gonna take care of priming the blaster, loading the shell. Once you pull the trigger and expel that dart, when you rack it again, it'll eject that shell and load the next one. Furthermore, when you click the switch all the way over to what looks like the 3 little bullet insignia here, on most real steel, that means full auto, or at the very least 3-shot burst. That is actually electrical semi-automatic. So that means you hold the trigger back, the blaster is going to fire once, eject that shell, and not do anything else until you let the trigger go and depress it again. I want to make that really clear. This is essentially a semi-automatic AEG toy blaster, and the manual does back it up. It shows the switch in the semi position and it says manual mode. Safety mode is obviously in the center, and then all the way back is electrical mode. So that just means you're technically firing the blaster in semi-automatic mode, but using the internal battery operated gearbox versus you having to do the work. I just wanted to point that out. That does not take anything away from the amount of gimmicky fun that this blaster provides. Final thoughts, these are not competitive blasters, but they're not pretending to be. What they are is a fantastic entry into MilSim inspired toy foam. And with a working AEG system, shell ejection, M-16 aesthetics, they definitely deliver what they promise. Would I recommend it? If you're into realism, collection pieces, or just want to feel like a foam operator for fun, yeah, it's worth checking out. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you got shell ejection blasters that you love, I want to hear about them. Big thanks to AGM Mastech for sending these over for review. And don't miss the next video. It's a little bit more on the competitive side, so make sure you're subbed.